presents to you Honest Talk.
Hi folks, today we are back with one more great and leading personality, Madam Geetika Bangia. Lead Public Relations, Corporate Communications, Internal Communications, Digital PR, Indian Subcontinent, Philips Limited. Geetika is a true storyteller and true believer in story living professional with 17 plus years of experience in the industries such as consumer durables, automotives and healthcare. She has passionately and relentlessly contributed towards building compelling brand imagery through communication for brands she has worked for. She is an ambitious and performance-driven professional who has strengthened the core of business that she has been associated with and delivered the objective of connecting the brand to its target audience. She is a proud recipient accolades and awards of the stature like Exceptional Women of Excellence Award at the Women Economic Forum 2019. Exchange for Media, 40 Under 40 PR and Corporate Communications Award 2019. Exchange for Media Communicator of the Year Award at Women Achievers Award and Summit 2020. So, let's begin our talk with our today's guest, Madam Geetika Bangia.
So first of all, ma'am, I welcome you to in this session. Thank you so much for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts with us. We are extremely very happy to have you for today's talk.
Much for the invitation here. Thanks.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's our privilege to have you. So, ma'am, moving to the topic of today's session, which we have chosen is PR or PR tech. Where does the future lie? Ma'am, as we all know, you have around 2 decades of experience in PR. Ma'am, my first question to you, or it's a kind of request to you, kindly explain our viewers 2 decades of PR as a profession and journey. How do you rate the profession when you started and now?
What I would like to share here is that PR is the heart of any marketing profession that we have around us. And it has seen a lot of changes. There has been, in fact, a continuous change process that has been happening. So I would like to put it this way, whether it is your society, your community, our ecosystem in whatever space that we are operating in, the changes are happening constantly and consistently throughout the spectrum. So even in that terms, functionality of PR is also changing accordingly. So it was in fact a fabulous profession 2 decades back. It is still an amazing profession to the new avatar, and it will remain a very fabulous profession even 2 decades later. Fashion in India specifically, there has been a great difference as to how PR was 10 years back and what it is right now. The importance of this profession has grown multifold, and it's only because now the companies, organizations where we are all working, they understand the importance of having a positive public imagery, and the organizations are ready to put in their best foot forward to avoid any kind of unforeseen or any kind of critical situation that the brand might face at any point of time. So and that has primarily happened with the manifold increase in the digital transformation that I would say. There has been a complete paradigm shift in the kind of PR platforms, or I would say digital platforms, that we are seeing, and especially in the last, I would say, about 7 to 8 years, there has been a great 360-degree shift, I would say. And with the increase in the number of public platforms, digital platforms, online circles that we are seeing, this profession stands on public views, and which is open to criticism as well at every stage. So now you have more independence, you have more freedom, you have more opinion-based conversations that are happening, which was not happening earlier. So that is one of the biggest changes that I have seen from shifting from one last decade to where we are now today. So that's how I would like to sum up, and those are the changes. I have been witness to all those changes, and So we are in an extremely a wonderful digital world where we are connected to each other in a matter of seconds. We have the freedom to share our opinion. We have the freedom to share whatever we like, we dislike, or be neutral about it. And that's what I feel the power of PR, wherein we are now driving conversations every minute to have a better connect with your readers, with your listeners, with your consumers, and so on and so forth.
All right, ma'am. I think it is really a very insightful answer from your side, and I think the viewers, those who are watching this session, it will be beneficial for them too. Ma'am, my next question to you, and I think you are the best person to answer my next question. Ma'am, the question is, what are the attributes for choosing PR as a profession?
Harsh, what I feel is, and I personally believe in that, when you choose a profession, the first thing that you need to look for is your personal traits and how you want to marry it with your professional attributes. So it needs to be a perfect combination, a perfect amalgamation of your personal traits of what you love doing and how would you like to marry it, connect it, and improvise it on further with your professional attributes. And it is really very important to do that, because when that happens, then only you can become a more focused, a more result oriented, and a very positive professional. As a person, I have always believed in rich content, and writing has been a very inherent part of it, and communication has always been very close to my heart, as it comes very naturally to me. So if I put all the 3 C's together, which is content, conversation, and creative writing, so it gives me a perfect blend, putting them all together. And that was the reason when I thought that this would be the best for me. So that some of the qualities which I feel are imperative, and I would like to put that across as imperative, which would be a PR professional needs to be persuasive. The person needs to have the person needs to be a creator of connections. You need to have that connect with whomever you are talking to, because as a PR professional, you are the face of the organization that you're working for. You can be a freelancer, you can be the face of the organization, so you've got to be extremely cautious, you've got to be extremely careful, and have an eye for detail in everything that you're doing. But I feel that for becoming an ideal PR professional or a PR person or a good communicator, I would say, in my opinion, would be that the person must have complete knowledge about what you are wanting to convey to your audience, to your target consumers, to your listeners, to your viewers. You have to be absolutely on your fingertips with your knowledge. Secondly, you got to be very clear about your target audience, to whom you are communicated, to whom you're communicating what you want to say. And over and above that, the exact or right time, which is most important. Timing is most important, that when do we need to send out that information. And of course, choosing the right medium, the right kind of platform, and how you would like to communicate it and send that information to your target audience. So when you piece up all these 4 points together, and that at that point, it would not be difficult or tricky, and and that also icing on the cake, that I would say, that you really got to be a careful, observant person, and put all your experiences together, which will definitely make you sail through it.
All right, ma'am. I think it was really a very wonderful answer from your side, and I think the viewers, those who are watching this session, it will be beneficial for them too. Ma'am, my next question to you: what are the attributes of a successful PR professional?
Okay. Attributes of a successful or a good PR professional, I would say, is most importantly what I have seen in my as in my professional career of the last 8 19 20 years that I have been there. Conversation and listening skills, that you really got to work on that. And if you have really good conversation and most importantly listening skills to gather and grasp that information within you and use it at the right time with the right medium, that's very important for a good PR professional. And as I mentioned earlier also, agility, which means ready to adapt yourself and deliver in crisis situations and at all times, is extremely important, because that attribute, these attributes, they help you. How do you assess the situation where you're actually there, and accordingly how do you create those responses and you respond to that particular situation? That is very important, because a lot of things are at stake. Your brand imagery is at stake, and in terms of getting out that messaging is very important, and there are a lot of things that are interconnected and interlinked to it. PR person is the outward face of any organization, so you have to be very careful about it, that what you're saying, to whom you're saying, and what medium you're using to say that. I would say that it is like a make and a break situation. So either it can lead you to success or it can lead you to, an unsuccessful one. So this is all about this profession. In other words, I would say that a PR professional is the mouthpiece of any brand, any company, or any organization that you're representing. And the person can displace the ideologies and also the profilic status of any company that you're working for. So confidence is the most integral part of this profession, and a PR profession's personality needs to be extremely confident in whatever you are saying, and as well as those human skills, those having those very good positive conversations, and with the slight tinge of accepting it with a little pinch of salt. So you got to adapt yourself, and I feel that that comes with time, that comes with experience, and when you face those critical situations in front of you, and when you sail through it, you get those things imbibed you within you with time and experience. So that's how I feel about that. These are the important attributes of becoming a good PR professional.
Indeed, ma'am. I think it's a kind of privilege that we got a chance to listen all these things from you. But my next question to you: how do you see a shift in your profile with the advent of technology?
That's a very interesting question, Harsh. We are all living in an absolute technology-driven world, and with the recent unprecedented and these exceptional times that the entire globe is facing at the moment, I think technology, I not only think, in fact, I believe, and it is absolutely prevalent and prominent here now, that technology has been the only savior for all of us, and we have been able to sail through these difficult times with the help of technology. And advancements in technology, of course, they are happening at every hour, and it is inevitable. It is constantly evolving, and so with the advent of technology, as you rightly asked me, is bringing a lot of changes in the world of PR as a profession as well. So PR is also not less touched. So as a PR professional, it is very important and very imperative, I would say, to familiarize yourself, keep yourself up to date with the changes and with the new platforms that are being introduced every day. Communication needs to be developed to bring that that brand affinity, the brand confidence with your consumers or with your listeners. So I realized that the role of PR to influence perceptions has evolved significantly in the last, I would say, about 7 to 8 years. I would say about 7 to 8 years, yes. And and it has the changes I feel going ahead, they would be exponentially. They would be exponential, to put it that way. And predominantly due to the entry of new age media, ad- huge advancements in technology, I feel it is not that normal PR that we used to do 10 years back. It has now changed into a format of more of storytelling. Content is the king now. Um, Due to the advent of technology, I would like to sum it up, by highlighting two big points, wherein data-driven decision making is now very much prevalent. It's not just we are now you have this plethora of data outside there, which helps you, which helps the brands, which helps all the organizations to make that decision making, and it has empowered us that what exactly the consumer is wanting to hear, wanting to read, and wanting that the brand should come up with the right kind of story that I am wanting to hear. So if I say from a consumer perspective. So, and the second point is consumer sentiment analysis. The data sciences have helped us tremendously to have that consumer sentiments, that what exactly a consumer is feeling right now, especially during these crisis times. I mean, the world couldn't have seen a bad crisis in a situation that we are in right now. It couldn't have happened in one's lifetime. So getting those consumer sentiments and knowing more about it, that what exactly your consumer is wanting to hear from you. So these data sciences have helped us to get those to get those sentiments. We can do a proper analysis about it and then cull out the kind of messaging that we would like to drive from a brand perspective and hit the bullseye that this is exactly what the consumer is wanting to hear. The third part is that in due to this artificial intelligence and data sciences, word cloud, wherein we have put in all these together and the technology has given us, it is very important, and it has become easier for us now to check the brand health, whether it is good, negative, neutral, what is the consumer saying now, and appropriately put that together, and one can change strategies accordingly and come up with a better plan how to connect with your consumer, change the messaging if the consumer is not liking your existing messaging. So that's I think to check the pulse of the brand health that's going out. So I would like to put it that way, that the technology has really helped and put it in a big paradigm shift, which with the help of technology the PR world is now going through.
All right, ma'am. You have mentioned, ma'am, many good and important points, but one which I like the most is that the thing is that we need to keep updating ourselves. And I think the context is that we have to remain updated, whatever the crisis will be there, or if the condition will subside. But the thing is that we have,
Absolutely.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my next question to you: what do you believe? Will PR remain as PR or called PR tech?
That's an interesting one. Um, Harsh, seeing the current scenarios we are right now, is what I feel that the future is not just about pure PR that we talk, and it is not just only about technology. I feel that it will be all about fusion of PR and technology, and that is what is driving the future now. And what we are seeing today is that present is past and future is today. And so the future is all about PR tech, and we cannot just put it as two standalone words that we are talking about here. So it needs to have that, the amalgamation between these two, PR and technology, and that is why we come up with this word, that is PR tech. With data analytics, as I mentioned earlier in the last question which we discussed, so with data analytics, artificial intelligence, which is actually finding a place in every corner of our daily life now, even in the PR operations, in the world of PR, anywhere we do, a lot of things, good things are happening, and they are happening for the good. A lot of things are changing. There's a huge transformation journey that we are going through. Professionals, I feel they would be able to do more intellectual, more meaningful work, and as compared to before. And a lot of mundane daily routine works that we used to do earlier, that would be taken care by AI in probably some years down the line, and I think it should be pretty soon now. Apart from technology, or as a PR tech concept that I would like to say here, is storytelling is really important now, as I mentioned earlier. And from the world of as a PR as a profession, storytelling, transparency, trust, and empathy, these are the four things that come to my mind instantly. I feel that they are the four very important pillars of PR. And when you join technology with it, with AI and technology, these two things would be great enablers, or I would say two big catalysts for improving the effectiveness and in the world of PR, and wherein the PR professionals would be able to put their experience at a more strategic level, strategizing that how we could do better, what are the new kind of conversations and communities that we could create, and that would be complete a conversation driven approach, and that will become more easier and than before to connect with your consumer. So of course one cannot deny the human touch and the human connect, that feeling that cannot be felt when the humans tell the story of the organizations in a absolutely convincing and I would say compelling manner. PR community, I feel, will have to embrace these changes, will have to embrace artificial intelligence, primarily for the reason that could help to enhance the effectiveness on the workplace. So I think it's now data-driven PR, and it will be PR tech in the future. I'm definitely hopeful about it.
All right, ma'am. It was again a very quite insightful answer from your side. Ma'am, I don't want to take you much time. Moving to my last question of this session, and I must say the kind of energy you brought into this session, it was really, really very inspiring for all of us.
Thank
I
you.
think that there's a lot to learn from your definition, from the definition of your PR. But we will look forward to conduct more session with you. So for right now, I'm moving to my last question of this session. Ma'am, the question is, how would you, what do you believe, how would you skill yourself to become an agile PR professional?
Right. So Harsh, There's a lot of new age media. Internet has been a boon on the majority of fronts when it comes to the number of avenues that we have in front of us now that have opened up for all PR professionals, wherein they would like to tell their stories of their organizations, be it a journalist, be it a PR professional, be it a communication person. It has in fact enabled a two-way communication. Earlier it used to be just one-way flow of information, and the audience used to just quietly receive it or be receptive about it. But that's not the case anymore. It's a two-way handle now happening. So the audience is far more aware. They know what they are reading, they know what they are, and they are absolutely up to date with the latest happenings around them. So one skill that I would like to share here is that if you really want to become a good agile PR professional, you got to read, read, and read. And that's one thing I have learned over so many years, and I keep on sharing also with PR aspirants who would like to connect with me. Readers are leaders, and leaders are readers. The more you read, the more connected you become, the more content you generate, and it becomes much easier for you to communicate that content within your own words, and place that very in simple and easy language in front of your audience. And when I'm saying this, I just don't believe in saying this. I even practice the same in my daily life. So I read. I just pick up anything and I read about it, whether it's a newspaper, whether it's a good, probably a fictional novel, if you are really fond of reading novels, and any magazine that you like. And the reason that I'm laying emphasis on this is that in today's VUCA world, the way things are speeding up, the way things are changing, the way normal sciences is changing to neurosciences, the way natural intelligence has now shifted to artificial intelligence. How would a human brain just cope up in this fast-moving world? The only thing that helps us in articulation of these entire changes that are happening around in our ecosystem that we are living in is reading. And a good PR professional just needs to keep himself, herself updated with whatever is happening around you. And the best thing is just keep on reading. And it is not just simply when I say reading, there has to be precise reading, a disciplined reading, and a reading which can actually make a difference to the entire scheme of things that you are operating on, that you are operating inside. So in today's scenario, as I mentioned earlier also, no one wants to buy products. Everyone wants to buy experience. Today also, whether it's you or me, if we just go on any platform or any online platform to buy any product, the first thing that we see is we check the reviews. We check the experience shared by the other consumers who have tried and tested that product. So whenever you feel that, okay, why am I reading this book? I feel that you're not just reading a book, you're reading an experience. And that will definitely give you some insight, and it will help you in your daily life, in your profession, be it any profession. And since we are talking about the PR profession here, so reading is, I think, utmost important. That keeps your knowledge absolutely up to date. You are ready to take a head on with any kind of crisis where you're standing, because you at the back end, you are having the knowledge how to sail through it. So it is actually a framework and the thought process that you develop for life and your future. So I think if you really want to become a good agile PR professional, just read, and just keep yourself updated with the latest happenings, with the latest knowledge that you can acquire, be it any field around you.
Again, ma'am, you mentioned one very important point, and I'm quite impressed with that. Readers are leaders, and leaders are readers. With this note, ma'am, I would like to wrap up this session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining and giving your important time. It was a healthy discussion with you over the topic. We look forward to conduct more sessions with you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining.
Thank you so much, Harsh. It was a pleasure to be on this platform. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.